Hi everybody, here's Krystian from TeamworkCast.
Hi, and I'm George from Experience Points.
And this is a Net Running with TeamworkCast. This is the 14th of June. This is a private draft tournament we started out. And this is the only video that survived the chaos of recording all of these videos. This is the final game of the tournament. This is Frank versus his own son, Lewis.
Wow. That's like some Roman stuff going on right there.
Oh man, yeah, that's the kind of finale you want to see in this kind of tournaments. And I have a beautiful guest with me on this show. It's none other than George.
Hi. Yeah.
So George, you are a Netrunner.
I am. I'm a Netrunner fan.
Yes, first time with us here, and you are. So when did you start Netrunning?
Oh gosh. Well, when I was a wee lad. No, probably August of last year, I would say. Right about that.
Oh wow. So you're way ahead of the curve compared to me.
Am I? I feel like I came late to the show.
Yeah. You always do, don't you? Because there are always already those people not understanding everything and stuff like that, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So yeah. And you also are a person who already did a draft, right?
I did. I have done this particular draft.
So maybe for people who don't know what a draft is, there are those weird packs, right?
Yeah. And each pack has your core set. What core gets 3 priority requisitions.
Yes, they're like starter packs with priority requisitions and crypsis and stuff like that. And then there are those packs which have random cards in them. And then you pick those random cards, and then you pick one of the cards from the random pack you have, and then pass them around on a table sitting in a circle. And so you slowly pick those cards apart, and then you have to construct the deck with those horrible cards that you just picked.
Yeah, it is a maddening process.
It is. So we have Frank is on the right, and Frank installed 2 eyes in front of HQ and R&D, and it is a Draco in front of HQ. A very good pick for a draft, I would say.
Yeah, well, this draft in particular came with a lot of tag punishment, right? I saw a couple of Scorched when I was running. When I built my draft deck, I built a kill deck as well. Yeah. So it was cool to see Draco. Yeah,
definitely. Like, I was surprised. I also had a Scorched Earth, and I had the opportunity to get at least 2 more. I was surprised how viable this strategy was.
Yeah.
So the other ICS there is quite unusual. I haven't seen it in regular play too often, which is Shadow.
Yeah. That is core gains 2 credits, right? And then trace to end the run, I think.
No, I think it also gives tags. Let me check this very quickly.
Oh, tags.
Because again, one of those things that you don't see.
Who plays with Shadow anymore, right?
Yeah. But I heard a lot of people like talking about how good Shadow actually is if you actually use it.
There's a wall of static on that.
And there's a wall of static and something installed in external server. So Shadow gives the Corp 2 credits, and there's a trace 3, and the trace gives the runner a tag. The
strength of Shadow is what, 1?
It's 1, but you can advance it to increase the strength. So a very versatile card. It is almost like a precursor to Caduceus a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, if you can hit those 2 subroutines, that trace is basically trace, 5? Mm-hmm. Considering the 2 credits you gain from it?
Yeah, basically, yeah, because the first subroutine finances the trace later on. So Lewis got out a Armitage code busting. And I noticed that during the draft, this was the biggest worry and the biggest winning condition, whether you're able to snatch out all the money-making cards out of the draft packs.
Yeah, when I first played, I expected there to be more, so I passed up on things like hedge fund and stuff, which really is not good, because there's not that many money-making cards in the draft.
Yeah, and really not. And hedge fund, things like hedge fund or sure gamble are like, gods, and like, yes! Oh my gosh, this is the most exciting card ever!
Yeah. Finally, you can have that 12th Shore Gamble into your collection.
Indeed. So also one card that really wins a lot of games was something like Magnum Opus.
Oh yeah. Well, that's true anyway.
Yeah, well, that's true anyway. That's indeed, but it's especially true in draft because it's like all you need is money and the crypsis, and you already got the crypsis. So All right, so Frank double advanced his in server with something installed in there, and now double iced, and now he double advances it. And then he also has a empty server going on there.
Those are interesting credit markers.
Those are quite popular. We actually imported them from America.
Oh wow!
For a lot of money because they're quite heavy because they're out of metal.
Oh, nice.
And yeah, there's kind of like sci-fi futuristic coins. There was some kind of like a Kickstarter where they were produced, and you can still buy them even though the Kickstarter is over. Very popular among the runners in New York, apparently.
What? The New York scene has their own currency. That's fantastic.
All right, so Lewis gets out a fem, and he fems random ice there.
An unresed ice on an empty remote. That's interesting.
Huh. And he runs on R&D there and scores accelerated beta test. Runs on the R&D again, and he scores a private security force. So 4 points,
Wow.
and we have to add that these games go to 6 points, so not 7 as regular.
Yeah, game point. That is a very lucky 2 runs.
Yeah. But on the other hand, Frank is able to score a priority requisition there, so he's also advancing, and he is able to res the toll booth there. Wow, that was a very nice guess with a femme fatale there on toll booth.
Yeah. That's such a shame. I feel bad.
I wonder if he maybe saw it running on HQ or something.
Oh, maybe, yeah.
Because that's that's like, almost like spider sense tingling kind of precognition.
This is not going well for Fred.
Frank, you mean? Yes,
Frank.
This is not going well for Frank. Indeed, he. But on the other hand, I mean, he also needs to score a 3-point agenda, and it's gone, right?
It's true.
So, what kind of tokens are you guys using?
I use the I forget the really cool ones. You know the ones everyone has.
The really cool ones, the really long ones.
No, they're acrylic and they're on both sides.
Uh-huh.
My mind is not working right now.
Team Covenant ones.
Team Covenant, those are the tokens.
Oh
yeah,
man, those are really cool indeed.
I love those. I really. Oh wow.
Oh, the game is over because Lewis just ran on R&D and found just another agenda. Not very weird game. It was a very straightforward win from him. Just got out one breaker, and there was just one ice in front of R&D, and that's it.
An ice without an end-the-run subroutine. So lesson learned.
That's true. Yes, that's also some very important thing in drafts, like finding all the ice that ends a run.
Oh yeah.
Because we even started considering things like Sensei.
Yeah.
Because it's this Jinchiki ice which gives end the run on all other ice in the same server.
And we should say the deck minimum size is only 30.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know what the odds are of actually pulling an agenda from R&D depending on the size of your deck.
Well, you also put less agendas in there.
Oh yeah, that's true.
They have like rules according to this, but I guess the variance is higher then. Because the more cards you have, I don't know. I'm not a mathematician, but it seems to me like
to say we just saw 3 agendas pulled from the top 5 cards of R&D. 6.
Yeah. We probably saw most of the agendas that the deck ever had.
Yeah.
And also, but it's also possible to deck somebody very easily to make the corporation run out of cards.
Yeah. Well, that's why there's no data leak reversal in this set.
Oh, there isn't. Oh, nice. We haven't seen one. I have never seen the list of all the cards that are available, but yeah, that's good to know.
Well, there's interesting too because I don't think Snare is in this draft set either.
Huh.
So runs on R&D, relatively safe. There's not going to be a shock. There's no snares in there.
Huh. So
I could be wrong. Maybe I just missed the snares in my draft set, I suppose.
I haven't seen a snare. I haven't drafted a snare, so that's entirely possible. Ah, yes.
How did you fare in this tournament?
I didn't fare very well. I won my first game, my first match. The second match I actually played against Lewis, and Lewis killed me with Krypsis and Magnum Opus. I actually was able to res things like in Heimdall and stuff like that. It was crazy, but he went through anyway. But I really like drafts because it kind of like introduces you to cards you would never play otherwise.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So I think Shadow is, for example, a good example because it's actually a pretty good ice that nobody uses for some reason.
Yeah, it makes you think outside the box, for sure.
Yeah.
Although you get combinations you would never otherwise be able to pull off because of influence caps.
That's true. Also, like, because, for example, the corporation can use all combinations of agendas.
Yeah.
So you can have, like, I don't know. I guess there is no Astro script, right?
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I would hope not. I feel like that would be really overpowered.
That would be really OP, right? All right, so Frank runs on the 2 ice that Lewis has installed there. Lewis has a... What is that? That's a TMI in front of R&D.
Well, speaking of cards people don't use very often.
Yeah. Well, I saw TMI even on a tournament once.
Oh, really?
But it's really not a very frequent one. So he increased the trace strength to 4 in order to keep TMI on the board.
It's interesting he chose that even without being... I mean, he's not making news, so he can't buff that without spending money, I guess.
Oh yeah, that's true. Yeah, so he cannot. So he actually put it he's actually spent all his money resing TMI and resing Rototurret. Funny enough that he resed Rototurret, even though Frank didn't have any programs.
I think I spotted a priority wreck in his hand, so my guess is he's guarding that 3-pointer.
That could very well be. And then Lewis installs a marked accounts. So marked accounts is a very interesting card because it doesn't give you that much money as a corporation, but trashing it as a runner is just so expensive.
It's 6 to trash? 5?
Yeah, I don't know. It was something ridiculous.
It's one of those, it only helps the core
5.
a little bit, so it's hard
5.
to justify. Okay.
Yeah, so it's only helps. It gives you 1 credit per turn, but you have to recharge after 3 credits with a click. So it's like a very weak pet campaign that is even more expensive to trash.
I'm of the mind that trash any source of asset-driven economy.
Well, especially in draft, right? Because
yeah.
here money is so important. And on the other hand, you lose 5 credits as a runner. That's also quite a hit.
Yeah.
So Frank gets out also a femme fatale. So both have femme fatales in their deck. Frank, of course, put the token on the TMI, so now he gets through in both servers, HQ and R&D. He even did a R&D run, but he hasn't found anything. He also has Aesop's Pawn Shop.
To trash that Armitage.
Yeah, it's also economy. It's also good for economy. Because the thing is, like, you also get all these crappy cards that you cannot use, stuff like maybe like access to global sec.
Yeah.
And then you can still play it and then get money out of this. All right, so he uses a parasite to get rid of the Rototurret and makes an HQ run, but even 2 HQ runs, but doesn't find anything.
Same wall of thorns.
3 HQ runs. Oh, there it is!
No.
Priority requisition.
Got it.
And the game's already halfway over.
Doing it to his own son.
Well, I already talked about it because I already had both Frank and Lewis in some of our videos. But Frank is actually an old Pro Tour Magic veteran.
Oh, wow.
Yes. Well, he's not that old, but he's he's one of the first people who ever, first German people who ever got into like a high-profile Pro Tour Magic Pro Tour thing.
Have you played him in a non-draft setting?
Yes, I did, and I actually won. Haha!
Take that. Is he very good?
He's I already talked about it, but he has like this very cool. He has a very cool play style. He's like very relaxed. I don't know. I cannot describe this. He already plays for now. He doesn't play like in a competitive sense. He just plays for fun.
Yeah.
All right. So he runs on an installed card there and finds a pet campaign and trashes the pet campaign.
Unresed pet campaign.
Mm-hmm. Do you usually wait for a pet campaign to res?
Unless I think that they're gonna ice it up. Yeah, absolutely.
That's the worst feeling, isn't it? Yeah, you have the opportunity to trash it, you decide not to do it, then they res it and ice it up. It's like, ugh.
Yeah, that's a shame.
But on the other hand, they used an ice.
But, even if they ice it up, that's one less ice they're going to layer on an important server.
That's true. But on the other hand, how long... If you have a pet campaign laying around like for a long time, man, that amount of money you get from a pet campaign.
There's a lot of Jinteki players in my meta, and you see a lot of mental health clinic decisions being made.
I'm experimenting with it right now, obviously, because everybody does.
Yeah.
Building the white tree deck. But the problem is, as a corporation, that's just like a slow trickle, It's in total, it's a lot of money, but if you need that money now to survive, it doesn't do you much good.
That's true. So he replaced an ice on a remote that he had just placed.
Interesting. Maybe he drew a better one. Mind games. There is a pop-up window on R&D. I know that Lewis really enjoys pop-up windows.
That's a great pool for drafts.
Oh yeah, definitely. Because it's also basically a money card. And Frank runs on R&D twice. He trashes one Melange, which is a very excellent snipe there. Because Melange can really wreck your world as a runner.
Oh, Lewis really pulled a lot of economy cards. Smart.
Oh man, look at this. He trashed the TMI and installed a different thing. Of course, now the pop-up window is in the back. He kind of want the pop-up window in the front.
That TMI had the Femme Fatale token, though, right?
Yes, so it wasn't actually doing him too much good. All right, and then Frank installs a, what is it again?
Dyson Mem chip?
Oh yeah, it is. Yeah, so it gives you a link and a memory.
That's great against all those tags, I guess.
It's good, and also it's good because what we also figured out is that's actually very viable to use. What is it?
Underworld contacts?
Exactly. Use that one in the draft because there's actually a lot of those floating around, and they usually the very last in the pack to get picked.
Yeah.
So that's actually something I was able to pull off in my draft deck, and I was surprised it worked. Because you would think those money schemes where you need multiple cards are not very good in draft, but they actually work perfectly.
Well, if you have 5 of them, I guess it's fine.
Yeah, I did have 5 of them. I didn't put 5 of them in the deck, but it was crazy. So Lewis created a huge server there, installed something, and advanced something in there. Then Frank ran in it, and it is actually 2 Eli's.
Not enough clicks.
And Frank doesn't have any barrier breaker. He only has the Femme Fatale so far.
That's a beautiful sight, 2 Eli's.
When I started the game, I really thought Eli is really bad because you can't click through it. So I was like, what is the point,
Yeah.
But as you get wiser, you realize how powerful that card is. Especially in draft.
Oh, yeah.
It's so taxing.
And with Inazuma out now?
Oh, man. Or even something other that I really learned to love in the draft. I was able to snag at least 4 chums.
Chum? Oh, that the one where you can't jack out of a server?
No, the one it increases the strength.
Oh, right. And then deals 3 net damage if you don't break all the subroutines.
Yeah, and it costs just 1 to res, so it's a very cheap way to tax the runner even more. Lewis is able to score a prior to acquisition and scores and reses a shadow on his R&D. So we see both players using shadows. Interesting. I really hope that the drafting will become more popular, so we see people experimenting more with cards inspired by drafts.
Yeah. It's a little expensive. I've thought about, now that I have so many copies of cards, to try to create it manually with friends.
Yeah.
But I still don't really know how to create those packs. That looks like, a crash space?
There's a crash space on Frank's side, and there is a data sucker. And Lewis just ices up R&D. Doesn't want a random find in R&D to screw his possible win in this one. He has a very secure server with the 2 Eli's. Frank runs on the server.
Another pop-up window.
Another pop-up window. Pop-up window, shadow, pop-up window. Doesn't stop anybody, actually.
No, but that's quite taxing.
But like Lewis gets like 5 credits from this, from every R&D run. Although Frank can break the shadow at least, so it made just 2 credits.
And with the link, it's going to be hard pressed to pull that trace off.
Yeah, but the trace is just for the tag. I don't think there is any. I don't know if Lewis has tag punishment. It's a good question.
When you see that, I mean, one of the cool things about draft is everyone sees what cards you could potentially have.
Oh yeah.
So if you throw a shadow out there, who knows? Maybe he's got 3 Scorched Earths. You don't know.
Yeah, you definitely saw Scorched Earth going around during the draft. So like, is he the one who picked it up?
Yeah, exactly.
All right, so Lewis installs a card in that highly protected server. That's like a challenge for Frank to run on. And I think there is another server right next to the marked accounts there.
Oh, yeah. It's camouflaged on the blue mat.
Yeah, it is.
Sneaky.
That's a cool idea for a mat, just, made out of the backs of the
of cards. I feel like that would not be tournament allowed. Well, he cannot break through that Eli server regardless right now.
No, he can't. But Frank did run on archives to check if there's any agendas hidden there. There are none. Thinking about where to put the parasite, he puts it on the outer Eli. If he is able to remove one of the Elis, then that server becomes accessible again.
Lewis, he's got the data sucker as well, so we can kill that next turn.
Oh, that's true. So, oh man, Lewis is like he pad campaign and Melange Mining Corp. Ouch. Wow. Just clicking once or twice with the Melange Mining Corp is really enough to secure your money for another agenda, the final agenda.
I think at this point I might just do endless runs on R&D. I mean, he's got so much money.
Well, Frank doesn't have too much money right now, sadly.
But Lewis has plenty of cash.
So it doesn't matter, right? So you could just as well just run through it and whatever. Like, take all the money, I just want to see all those cards.
Exactly.
Multi-access is also not very frequent in all those drafts.
Yeah, I think I saw a Mimic?
I did have Maker's Eye. At least one. Mimic I definitely saw, yeah. Alright, so Frank diesels up and installs Axles to Global Sec. I'm assuming that either he will get out Underworld Contacts or he will ace up Spawn Shop it. And wow, he's discarding cards there? I'm not sure if I recognize this.
I like the idea of getting cards out just to sell it to a pawn shop.
Yeah. It's really thematic here.
Desperate times. He's just selling off all his goods.
Yeah. Wow, there's a Peacock landing there. Interesting that he doesn't want to install the Peacock. I guess there is no code gate right now.
I think I spotted a zoo in his hands.
Mm-hmm, maybe. Oh, so that might be a good reason.
Yeah. Okay,
Lewis gets money from market accounts and pad campaign. Oh, wow, look at this.
That is a beefy server.
Especially and then we already saw that it is a Chimera there. Wow, that's a hugely protected server. Of course, Chimera is not the best card to have as an outer card on such a server.
No. But he has plenty of money.
Yeah, he can keep up. Oh, he decides for a different card.
I think that Chimera is better served on your Eli scoring server.
Oh yeah, definitely. So maybe that's where it goes right now.
Yeah.
And then he beanstalks, so he gets 3 monies.
He changed his mind.
He changed his mind. He clicks market accounts instead. Frank runs on the server. He wants to get rid of the Melange Mining Corp.
Does not res the outer ice.
Interesting. Lewis doesn't res now. I guess he wants to keep the outer ice as a surprise for later when he puts an agenda in there. Oh, but Frank doesn't have enough clicks, or he decides not to click through it. No, he does decide to click through it. And then also he decides to, I guess he winds back here, decides to trash Global Sec to Pawn Shop as expected.
It's a friendly match.
It is, yeah. It's not even like, a tournament or something. It's just, we are at the house of a buddy of ours, and we play a draft. All right, Lewis setups. He has pretty serious servers. I mean, in a real constructed decks, I sometimes don't have servers that extensive.
Oh yeah, a 4 deep R&D. That's good.
Yeah. And then he beanstalks.
He has more economy than some of my primary decks.
Maybe we should ask him for a deck list. On the other hand, Frank is able to do a lot of damage just with one breaker, with Femme Fatale there. And wow, he does a sure gamble. And he mods a battering ram into place. Wow. I love that. Usually everybody uses just Corroder for barriers and nobody thinks twice about any other barrier breaker. But in draft, you just start using all these crazy things.
Oh yeah, you have to.
Yeah, like, force of nature, yay! I can break code gates. Frank runs on HQ because HQ is the least protected, and now with Battering Ram he gets into there very, very easily, but he doesn't find an agenda. I guess Lewis really hasn't drawn an agenda yet. Ah, yes. So Lewis ices up HQ. He really has a lot of ice in that deck. Wow.
He really does. I wonder what his deck size is.
Yeah, I wonder too. Because I guess with Corp you want to say as low as possible, but with or I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it depends what agendas he's running. If he's running all of his priority Rex,
then you might want to. But on the other hand, you're just diluting. You want to just use your best cards, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah,
it's a difficult choice there.
Yeah.
Because on the other hand, like if you go down to 30 cards, again, like decking the corporation becomes a viable strategy.
Yeah,
and it actually happened to Lewis during this tournament. So Lewis gets a ton of money. Frank installs a decoy. I assume that will also be something that will see
an Ace of
Pawn. Yeah. Ace of Fuel.
It's a little weird that the pawn shop accepts, humanoid things.
Yes. Like this is this woman we found in the apartment.
It's okay. She's an android. Androids don't have feelings.
Oh. Oh, there we go. Decoy is indeed being pawned. Pwned, as we say, as gamers.
That poor decoy. Harvested for parts.
Yes. So I wonder. So we saw that there's probably a Chimera on the HQ, on that server, but I wonder where the second ice is. All right, Frank runs on the HQ. He found third pop-up window.
It's a great pull.
Wow. So he gets through with Battering Ram. Oh, there we see another Pyrrhac. Ah. Wow. Lewis just had to install this in a server, and he could have scored it, but it was snapped from his hand.
I'm surprised. That must have been a pretty safe server. I feel like I would have put that down pretty quick.
Yeah, maybe if they start collecting cards, we're going to see what cards they are. I wonder what the second one is.
Do you think he has some hidden power to read his son's moves?
I think maybe the genetic inheritance there maybe created some kind of mind link between the two,
Yeah, it's an unfair advantage.
Yeah, I know. So what did you think about the two games?
They were good. I like that a lot. That Lewis deck actually seems really viable. I'm shocked he lost.
Oh wow, that was a Heimdall in there. Wow.
And I think he had enough money to res it.
Yeah, probably he did. That would be awesome. But it was a barrier, right? So he could have, Frank could have broken it with a battering ram.
Wow, only 5 cards in R&D.
I'm kind of disappointed now because I really would have liked to see Heimdall versus battering ram. That would have been a beautiful ending for this game.
Cool.
All right, George. Thank you for joining us this time around. It was a great pleasure.
Thank you.
So you are also doing a podcast. Can you tell our listeners where they can see your awesome podcasting stuff?
You can see my awesome voice on experiencepoints.net. That's where we podcast. We're 280-something episodes.
Yeah. You have a lot of episodes.
Yeah. It's long.
You don't talk about Netrunner on your show, though, right?
Every chance I get, I will make a Netrunner reference. So,
but what is your show about?
Our show, every week we talk a little bit about video games in general, and we sit down and shoot the conversation. It's only about 30 minutes, so it's pretty short every week, but we have not missed a week since we started 4 years ago. So if you're into consistency at the very least, there you go.
Yes, a very excellent show. I listen to also very frequently. It's one of my favorites as well.
Well, one of these days we'll have to talk about Netrunner on the show.
Definitely, that will be an episode I will listen over and over again.
Absolutely.
So I wanted to ask you one more thing.
Sure.
Do you know the movie Hackers?
Of course, I know the movie Hackers. Come on.
Who
do you think I am, Krystian?
Do you know the slogan from the movie? The tagline?
Hack the planet.
Hack the planet!
Hack the planet!
Hack the planet!
Shut up and get in the car!
Shit on me.